This is a large 4-ounce piece of Mintabie Opal. Looks pretty good, for sure. The question is just how much you can actually get out of this. The problem is that we have layers of color sandwiched in between layers of potch, and so the end of this thing here shows good color there, but you can see that this layer of potch is coming in, and that's it over the whole surface there. So as soon as you get down to a layer of color, you've got a layer of potch blocking you. This side looks pretty good, but you can see that there's just one thin line of potch there, maybe a little at the surface, and certainly that one at the bottom. If you turn it to the side, this color bar stays pretty wide, but this thick one narrows, to not much more than a millimeter there, and goes the same all the way around. So I can see here that I've got a thick color bar here, and that ends right here. It goes all the way around, pretty much, right there. So between that point and that point, this might be usable there. I don't know what we're going to do with this whole part of the specimen, and that's why this is not the most expensive opal in the world. So I'm going to take it with the saw, and I'm going to go from right there straight through to, I guess, back here, and divide it in two. Here's my saw line. So that is good material. This is a very thick potch layer. The same here, and that's the good area. Now, there's always a chance it could extend a little out there. I just don't see that happening. This is very, very thin, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this part of this specimen. I'm just going to put it on the saw, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here's the saw line, and I've cut along there. This is what happens along the saw line. The blade's a little dirty. This isn't the best blade in the world, but it's relatively new, and I thought I could take care of it. Let me clean this up a little bit, and we'll take a look at it. And these are the two sides. This is the bad side, supposedly, and the good side. It turns out that, of course, in this area, neither one's going to look very good. We have layers of color with layers of potch. And the potch layers, unless you can confine your cut to just that thin thing, that thin layer, you're not going to get much. On this side, it is what it is. I mean, these huge wide color bar narrows down to almost nothing over there. So it's a very tough specimen. At least when I bought this, I was pretty inexperienced, and the opal dealers are not inexperienced. And well, this was relatively cheap, and that's why it was relatively cheap. Not cheap, but relatively cheap. I think that I see what's going on here. It looks real good, but I think that this red flashy layer is just the very thinnest layer at the very top of this, and not the underlying layer. I say that because at the end here, where I have gotten through that top layer, there's a little area of what it looked like on the side, and that's Jelly Opal. So I'm going to keep grinding down maybe I can preserve that very, very, very thin layer and have this all come out looking like gem opal, even though I would guess it's mostly jelly opal. This is interesting. It turns out that that very thin layer that looked like potch is actually a gem layer, and there it is. It's extremely thin. This is getting pretty interesting. I'm preserving this end, because this is a very thin gem layer at the top. Beneath that is this jelly opal layer. But that jelly opal layer is quite a stunning jelly opal layer. I was going to preserve this on this end, but I think if I end up with something like this for the whole length of it, pretty directional, that's pretty nice. And I think that this is not only a gem layer, but it is what I thought it was. It's potchy as well, so I'm going to have to get through this gemmy looking material and potch to get down to the same layer that I am down here. But it's pretty stunning, by my estimation, particularly for jelly opal, sort of a almost dark base. But that's the way most, well, a lot of jelly opal looks. Okay, I tried to work the back, but even though it looks pretty good, you can see that those layers of potch, it just wasn't going to work out. Nice thick gem. It's got a little nick there. This is, it started, when I said before I'd weigh it, it weighed 230 carats, and this is 190 carats. And it's got a pretty nice polish on it. Okay, this is the B side. You can see the A side sitting in the pan. What I've decided to do here is to try to separate this top layer off by dividing it through the potch layer. I've marked basically directly on the potch layer, and it's not wet anymore. And the layer beneath it is the color layer beneath it is one that probably have to be sacrificed unless I really luck out. These are the two halves. This is that top layer. A little irregular. Got most of it. I got a little bit, got an angle. So this layer is going to thin out a little bit, but I have most of that as well. Now I'm going to flatten this back and see what happens. These are the final stones. The large one is about 194 carats. The smaller is about 45 carats. The large one is 102 by 35 millimeters, and the smaller is 78 by 20 millimeters. The smaller one is about 0.4 millimeters. Not 0.4 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 4 to 5 millimeters thick, and the larger one is 8 to 9 millimeters thick. They're both what I'd consider to be high-grade jelly opal, predominantly. On the back side of this one, we have some gem opal that I could never get it into a single layer, so I just left the back as it is. I don't think I polished the back as well as I polished the front. But anyway, the large one has this area of potch, but it still looks pretty good. When you've got the back of the smaller one is mostly potchy, but the front is very, very nice. So at the time I bought this, I really didn't have much experience with Jelly Opal. I now know that the price was relatively low because the seller knew that it was Jelly Opal. I didn't, but it's not that it's not worth the price. Wasn't very expensive comparatively, but this is pretty high grade. It's about as high as I've ever dealt with. There is one of my videos. It's something called rolling flash. I think I was setting it in a gold setting. It's one of my videos. I believe that is actually extremely high grade Jelly Opal, much higher than this, but this is very high. It's very nice. And now, what is Jelly Opal? Well, I think that the best way to describe Jelly Opal is that the color appears to float within a gelatinous background, like gelatin, Jello, if you will, or some other colloidal type suspension. The color appears to float within it, and it's got this sort of hazy appearance. I don't have the best explanation, but once you've seen it, you pretty much and cut it, you pretty much know what it is. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support. A lot of you people have helped me with very interesting, insightful comments, and I appreciate that. I try to respond to most comments, but sometimes I miss them, and I apologize. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.